Picture this. Three heavyweight champions of the sports arena, NFL, NASCAR, and Formula One, squaring off simultaneously on a jam-packed Sunday, October 19th. It's an epic showdown where star athletes vie for glory, but for devoted fans, it sparks a frustrating dilemma about which thrilling event to prioritize. Fans across the globe will be glued to their screens, yet this clash forces many to juggle loyalties or miss out, turning a day of excitement into a battle of priorities. But here's where it gets controversial. How fair is it that one sport might overshadow the others in viewership, potentially sidelining passionate racing fans in favor of football's massive audience? This weekend, the NFL, NASCAR, and Formula One are all set to captivate viewers at the exact same time, dominating major networks like Fox, CBS, NBC, and ESPN. It's a rare scheduling crunch that highlights the challenges of broadcasting multiple high-stakes competitions. And it begs the question, why don't these sports giants coordinate better to avoid such conflicts? For newcomers to sports scheduling, think of it like trying to attend 3 parties in different cities at once. You're bound to miss parts of the fun unless you teleport. Let's dive deeper into the action. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are heating up with a crucial round of 8 race at Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. This high-octane event marks the first big NASCAR broadcast on NBC since the regular season wrap-up at Daytona International Speedway back on August 23rd. For those unfamiliar, the playoffs in NASCAR are like a championship tournament where drivers compete in elimination-style races to advance, building intense drama as the season narrows down to the top contenders. The Talladega race kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, timed strategically for a couple of key reasons. First off, the track lacks artificial lighting, a design choice rooted in its history and cost-saving measures, meaning races must wrap up before dusk to ensure safety and visibility. Second, NBC has its own football programming lined up, including Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Sunday Night Football at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. To accommodate this, NASCAR's broadcast needs to clear the airwaves well before the pregame buzz starts, avoiding any overlap that could confuse or frustrate viewers. Meanwhile, Formula One keeps the momentum going with the Grand Prix of America at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. This adrenaline-fueled race begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and will be showcased on ESPN, but it directly clashes with both NASCAR and NFL events. Clocking in at about 1.5 hours, the F1 race typically concludes around 4:30 to 4:35 p.m. Eastern Time. In contrast, the Talladega NASCAR playoff, which runs for just over 3 hours based on past durations, means enthusiastic fans aiming to catch both might have to skip a significant portion of the NASCAR action mid-race before flipping back for the exciting finish. It's a tough call, and many might wonder, is it worth the channel surfing hassle, or should networks offer delayed viewing options like they do for major events? As for the NFL, it's sticking to its usual rhythm for Week 7 of the season. The day's games kick off with the Rams versus Jaguars at Wembley Stadium in London, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the NFL Network. This international matchup won't cause any conflicts since it wraps up early in the afternoon, but the real scheduling squeeze comes with 6 games launching at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. These contests, featuring teams like the Saints at Bears, Dolphins at Browns, Raiders at Chiefs, Eagles at Vikings, Panthers at Jets, and Patriots at Titans, generally end around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, right smack in the middle of the NASCAR and F1 races. Then, additional games follow closely after, with starts at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time and 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time for matchups involving the Giants at Broncos, Colts at Chargers, Packers at Cardinals, and Commanders at Cowboys. Wrapping up the day are Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and the Falcons at 49ers at 8:20 p.m. ET on the same network. Just like every Sunday from September through February, the NFL is poised to command the highest ratings. A dominance that's no surprise given football's broad appeal and dedicated fan base. But this is the part most people miss. Does this mean racing sports like NASCAR and F1 are unfairly disadvantaged, potentially losing viewers to football's primetime allure? It's a point that could stir debate. Some argue networks prioritize football for profit, while others say it's just the nature of sports popularity. What if we flipped the script and imagined a world where racing gets equal billing? Would ratings shift? Here's the full lineup for October 19th to help you navigate the chaos. Rams vs. Jaguars in London, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saints at Bears, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dolphins at Browns, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Raiders at Chiefs, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eagles at Vikings, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. ET on Fox. Panthers at Jets, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Patriots at Titans, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Cup Series at Talladega Superspeedway, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. F1 at Circuit of the Americas, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Deportes. Giants at Broncos, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Colts at Chargers, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Packers at Cardinals, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Commanders at Cowboys, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Football Night in America, 7 p.m. ET on NBC. Falcons at 49ers, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. With such a stacked slate, it's clear that sports fans face a real predicament this weekend. Do you believe the NFL's scheduling empire should make room for other sports? Or is it simply a case of supply and demand? Should networks experiment with simulcasts or better coordination to please everyone? And here's a controversial twist. What if NASCAR or F1 deliberately scheduled against football to challenge its dominance? We'd love to hear your take. Agree or disagree? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. You might also like